You don't got the,
Can you hear
the
it from
intro
out there?
music?
Huh?
You don't got the intro music going?
The intro music?
Yeah, you need an intro and
We
the
need like
outro.
boombox
The intro and the outro going.
That'd be sick.
Speaker in the corner.
Welcome to the podcast. That actually is kind of fire. Now, but on a serious note, welcome guys to the Juice Box. We got the Athletek podcast, the baseball development show. We're here with Max Tracey.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Max, we're gonna dive into Max's baseball career here. He's got a lot of insight, a lot of cool, unique.
Got a lot to share.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of places. So we actually went to the same high school here. That's how we know Rolando.
Norcross.
Yeah, it's Norcross High School, and then we went to the same junior college as well, up in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah.
CCBC there.
Go
Went
Knights.
to the World Series there. That was pretty cool.
That was sick. I mean,
experience.
yeah.
We can kind of brush over that.
Yeah.
No, we don't wanna be on that
Just wait
'cause
to the
that
World
ended
Series.
very
No big deal.
badly. Ended poorly, but yeah. Then I went to a different junior college after that, back down here in Georgia. I went to West Georgia Tech, and then I ended up going to Savannah State University after that, and graduated from there after 2 years. So
And that's only 5% of the journey.
yeah, and so after that, we get into the independent pro ball world.
Were you like 100% set on I'm gonna play pro ball no matter where?
Nowhere near. I first was just done, and I didn't know what to do because I graduated 21, and so I was right. Last 2 years were just straight COVID years, so they ended up cutting our season short both years. So I would have had 2 more years of eligibility in college to play if I wanted. So after school, I ended up getting a serving job at a nice restaurant in Atlanta. I was just working there, and the plan was to go back to school the next year and get a master's degree and play as well at another college in Georgia. But yeah, then I just started looking at master's programs costs and was already in a good bit of debt. And I was just like, yeah, I don't think this is really the route for me. And then by the time, I put together all that and realized all that, I was very, very late coming into like the independent pro ball world. And I really just had no clue anything about it whatsoever, honestly.
What time of the year was this in?
Probably towards like December. Nah, this would have been like January, February by the time I actually quit my job and started getting back into working out and started to like find some tryouts. Started training with another facility near here over at High Performance, and then yeah, they knew about some tryouts and stuff, so I went to those, and then met a dude down in Florida who played out in the Pecos League out there, and he was like, man, like it's a tough league to play in. You're not going to get much money, but at the end of the day, you're going to be playing baseball. You're going to get some stats out there. Like, you're going to start your, professional career. And so, yeah, I, got the number of that dude, got the coach's name, hit up the coach, told him I was going to come out there, and then, proceeded to look for other options as well. But, yeah, I didn't end up finding anything else. So I went out there to Cali and played out there in Santa Rosa.
The Pecos League. This is where we're getting to the meat of it.
The Pecos League.
So for people that don't know back home, and even me, because I'm not fully like knowledgeable on the subject, but what's kind of like not just a hierarchy of the independent leagues, but kind of how do the independent leagues work?
Yeah, so the independent leagues, they kind of stem from the partner leagues. So the partner leagues are 4 leagues that are like partnered with the MLB. So they kind of feed into those minor league teams. That's where the minor league guys get majority of their dudes from.
Okay.
So up at the top, by the top, I mean, there's the American Association and Atlantic League. They're kind of up there because they have like a cap on the amount of rookies that they're allowed to take, whereas they have to have a minimum amount of like pros. So the more years you are playing pro ball, the more you move up. So I think you go from rookie to like pro to like senior, something like that.
Okay.
And so those top 2 leagues, you're only allowed to have like 2 rookies on the team, and then there's the 2 other bottom leagues, the Frontier League and the Pioneer League, and they both require like a minimum amount of rookies. So those are more tailored for younger guys who are still just starting out their pro careers.
And then they take the step.
Yeah. So if they'll either take a lot of dudes will sign from the younger partner leagues as well, straight to like MLB organizations and stuff like that. But yeah, and then below that, there's a few other independent bowl leagues that I'm aware of that most of them are partnered with one of the partner leagues.
Okay.
So I know like the Pecos League out there in California, as well as the Mavericks League out there in Oregon, is partnered with the Pioneer League. So that's also out there.
Okay.
And then there's the Empire League over here, which is partnered with the Frontier
That's
League.
New York. Right?
Yeah, that's like northeast up there. And yeah, they're partnered with the Frontier League, and they actually have the Empire State Grays
Okay.
in the Frontier League as well. So that's a real good kind of platform to move over, starting in that league to get an
Yeah,
opportunity on that
it's like a
team.
minor league system basically for.
Yeah, so then all that just keeps working down, and then there's also like the overseas and different countries aspect as well. So there's leagues in Canada as
Yeah.
well. I can't remember what the name of that one is, but then there's also a league in Mexico, like the LMB,
Yeah,
and
that's what you're
then
talking
there's
about.
so much summer ball in like Europe and over there as well. I know Germany, Spain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's baseball out there to be played for sure.
exactly. So it's
So
just about finding the opportunities.
so you found the opportunity in the Pecos League.
Yep.
So how was
And
that?
so the last first season out there, I was on a first year team, and it was the bottom of the barrel for sure. It was a grind. We had a manager. He didn't have much baseball knowledge. Wasn't much of like a businessman either. So he didn't really find us any host families. Didn't know how to get people didn't know how to get fans to the games.
Yeah.
Didn't do any extracurricular stuff to get the word out there that we were like, a new team in the area. So we didn't get much money of anything. And I was just kind of paying hotel to hotel with like three guys out of my own pocket. So
Sheesh.
I definitely lost a good chunk of change. Having a 3 4 month season out there, just paying for my own living and food and everything like that, and not even really getting much of a dime in pay out there. Yeah, so it was tough, but like I said, I balled out. You put up with the grind, and you get those professional stats out there, and you start adding to your resume.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
at this point, you gotta really love the game or like have a desire to continue
hmm
because, like you said, you're not on buses even or like getting
yeah,
fed and
you're
whatnot.
traveling all on your own dollar, you're carpooling with your teammates, all that. So, um,
But
and yeah.
how far do you guys? What's the furthest trip you guys have to make?
So I was in the California division. They have the shorter drives, but the furthest drive was probably about 7 hours that year, all the way down to like a bit south of LA,
Okay.
from north of San Fran. So yeah,
How's the area? Just like, cause I mean, I guess that's like a cool part getting to go
yeah.
out to
So I
Cali.
was up. Santa Rosa is really close to wine region like Clare Valley,
Okay.
so it was really like cool area out there. Really nice weather. I do enjoy the weather out there, at least up northern Cali for sure. No rain, love that. And yeah, but I was just staying so busy with baseball. We were playing 5 6 7 games a week. I didn't get much chance to
So
really explore, and
it was a
didn't have
full
my own
plate.
car out there. Yeah, so they kept us busy
What was
all
the
the time.
daily schedule like?
Um, wake up, get food. Like I said, we were most likely in a hotel. So sometimes we get hotel breakfast, sometimes not. You normally have to be at the field like 2 or 3 ish. Typically 4 to 5 hours before the game.
Okay.
You have a little practice, do defense work, and then hit BP on the field, and then you get your break and come back for the game hour and a half before game time after that. And that was typically games every day. If we didn't have a game, we were just trying to take advantage of any rest day we could and just
Yeah.
chill and not do anything because yeah, it was just tough not having access to like a gym, trainers, not being able to like have a good diet, a good healthy stable diet. Um,
So is it
just
very like college like, or like did you feel like you were not regressed as a player, but just like in just like the lifestyle thing, like
the life's definitely regressed in lifestyle and just health, physical health. Definitely took a toll on the mental health doing all that every day. There would be days where you'd go play a game and then you get done at like 9 10 o'clock and you're like, where am I going to sleep tonight? Because
yeah.
you just traveled 4 or 5 hours and didn't have time to book a hotel or whatever, and so you got to like either just sleeping in the car or you go around a bunch of hotels and hope that they have a room available or whatever. But yeah, so that was tough. Just putting up with all that mentally and physically. Like I said, you're just spending the majority of your time in the car traveling, and you don't have time to go to the gym. You don't have a gym membership. I didn't have my own personal card take me to the gym either. Um, and then you don't have a kitchen in the hotels or anything like that, so you're eating out. Majority of your meals, you're on the road, you're eating out. So yeah, it's just not a very healthy lifestyle out there. You really got to love the game, and you're just out there to be playing the game and get those stats. And you go there to see what you're made of, see
Yeah.
what your stats are, see what you can compete with, and just work on your swing, get those live ABs, get those reps. Yeah, so I mean, as far as people who have just finished college, um, and they don't know whether they want to continue on with the baseball journey, I would say go while you can. Like I had to think about this all a few years ago. You're not going to be able to come back 5 years later, 2, 3, 4 years later after not doing anything and be like, oh, like I missed the game. I want to come back and play and try to get back into it. Like you're not going to be able to do that after you've been away from it so long. So while you're into it, while you're just in the flow of things, young, healthy, and been working on it already, go for it. All those other jobs will always be there for you at the end of the day, but go ahead and like pursue your career while you can. And if you don't know anywhere so that you can go play, it's most likely because you just haven't researched enough or looked enough, or you don't know enough people. Like surround yourself with baseball players, and you'll find places to play. It's all about the connections. But if
Yeah.
you don't think you have the talent to get anywhere with a MLB organization or one of those partner leagues or anything like that, then I highly recommend going to the Pecos. Like I said, it's a good place to start, get some development, learn a bit, learn from your teammates, and you get those stats, and you just get your foot in the baseball world.
Get it
So
under your belt.
yeah,
If you don't hear that, if you don't have the talent level yet, and you don't have the connections, we got it here. Just DM us. Shoot us a DM.
yeah. So
This podcast
all
is
these
brought to you by
leagues.
Athletic Baseball.
Yeah, no, all these leagues has tryouts and stuff too. They're all on Google. Just find the tryouts. You show up there and you'll get a spot.
Do you like what's like a story that's like, damn, this is the Pecos League for you?
God, I had so many of those this past season. It's just it's like a series of unfortunate events almost every week that happen. There was one game where we showed up, just traveled like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we get to this field, and it's probably the nicest stadium like that they had in the league that I would have played at out there. And so
Yeah.
I was really happy. The old minor league stadium, and we get to the dugout, and there's just wasps everywhere, hundreds of them.
Brother. Like
And there was a whole wasp nest on like one side of the dugout, and just wasps everywhere. And the thing was probably like the size of like my body, like the nest.
damn.
Yeah, so it was massive, and you could tell it had to have been building up for months. Like that doesn't just appear overnight. I just don't get how they didn't see that. The team before that didn't say anything. I don't know. So drove that couple hours right back home, and then
They canceled the game
to,
like immediately? Well, I
canceled
mean,
it, and then
obviously.
we had to come back there the next day to make it up. So that was cool. And then that's just one of the stories. There's plenty of water difficulties, electric difficulties.
What do you mean water difficulties? You
There's
poison the water?
times at our field where we would turn the sprinklers on before the game, start watering the field right after the dirt and stuff, and then some couple of the sprinklers don't want to turn off at times, and so there was one game we had to delay like an hour and a half, and then we ended up starting it, but we just put pounds of dirt on top of a puddle, and it was just the unsafest conditions I've probably ever played in, honestly. And then so that happened another time where none of the sprinklers would go off, and we had to just cancel the whole game. Electric difficulties, our lights. We would play. I was in Bakersfield that second year, and you probably averaged 110 degrees every day, at least 105. So we played games at 8 p.m. at our field. Same with the sun would set like right behind the field, so you just couldn't play till the sun was down anyway.
Mhm.
You wouldn't be able to see as a hitter. And so we would have a lot of light difficulties. There was one game where the lights just all slowly started dimming, like going out one by one. Not the whole thing, but individual lights in each one. And then eventually it was just like super dark, and they're like, all right, we're gonna pause the game. We're gonna turn the lights back. We're gonna turn the lights off, and then we turn them back on later, like immediately, and we'll continue playing. And turn the lights off. We all go wait. I think they ended up doing some fireworks or something while they waited for the lights to come back on.
Impromptu fireworks.
Yeah, impromptu
Fucker.
fireworks.
This just went to the store next door, got some fireworks.
It's Yeah, because they said the lights are just gonna take a while to heat back up. So we did some fireworks, and then we're all just chilling in the dark, and fireworks end, and the lights just don't come back on. And we started asking around, and they're like, "Yeah, the lights aren't working. Not gonna happen. Canceling the game. We'll have to make up the rest later." And same thing, another game. Like we played 2, 3 innings. Then the one pole light pole right by home plate like went out, and so it was like one half of the plate would be dark over here, light over here, and so I like hitting it in the second or third inning, and I could just see like half of a white ball and then like half of a dark ball. It looked like the moon, like the light
Bruh.
side and dark side of the moon. But yeah, so then they're like, all right, we're gonna pause the game real quick and we're gonna turn all the lights off and turn them back on. And then the second they said that, I was like, I've seen this story before.
Been here before.
I've done this, and
Veteran of the game at that point.
they turned them off, and sure enough, never came back on. Rescheduled that game for later,
Well,
and
if you wanna get attacked by bees,
oh yeah,
do you wanna hit on the moon? Pecos League. Pecos League is
yeah,
for you.
there'll be
No,
all
we're not
kinds of
shitting on the
issues.
Pecos League.
But
Um,
yeah,
so are you going back or what? What's the plan?
well, now after summer ball is winter ball, so I'm actually gonna be going to Australia to play winter ball out there. Technically, it's their summer over there, opposite side of the world. So yeah, I'll be out there 6 months. I actually went out there last year as well. Um, and yeah, I got the opportunity out there because someone on my team that I played with in the Pecos he played out in Australia like 3, 4 years ago. He found out that I was half Australian as well, and he was like, "Yeah, any team would like love to have you because you wouldn't count as an import. They all have import rules and restrictions, the amount of guys you can bring. But instead, all they did was pay for my like certificate of to get my
Citizenship.
my citizenship over there
That's
in
sick.
Australia, and then I
That's
just
sick.
didn't count as an import. So I'm probably likely to just keep going back there for winter ball.
Did you have to take
Yeah,
it like a citizenship test?
no, there's no test or
There's no
anything.
test.
Just
That's
because my
straight.
dad, probably because my dad was Australian, so I was by descent, I could get my citizenship,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's like another way to get good opportunities. If you have a certain descent and they got baseball in that country, hit them up because you won't count as an import, so you can get over there for no cost compared to what they'd have to pay for other guys and get their visas and all that to get them over there. So
And you could qualify for the national team, couldn't you?
yeah, definitely, that'd be a good. It's definitely a goal to get to. Is playing for Team Australia would be dope.
Yeah,
I
that'd
love
be
baseball
sick.
classic
So
and stuff.
life in Australia was definitely better in terms of baseball.
For
And like,
sure, they all have better facilities. You know, everyone knew everybody in the baseball world, so it was a lot friendlier. And it's just not as dense or crowded of a like thing. Baseball's, I guess, somewhat new. It's only been around like the last 100 years. Only getting big the last like 10, 20 years over there in Australia.
okay.
So there's there's just one to maybe like 50 baseball players here to like baseball players over there. But they'll still get all the really good talent in the ABL over there in their top leagues and stuff. Most of those dudes in the ABL are in like single A, double A with the MLB organization somewhere. Even triple A, and some guys in the MLB as well. Yeah, so it's just a lot. I think a cooler avenue over there to work up all the levels and stuff like we talked about. It's much simpler to work up over there, and you also get to travel, experience a new
Yeah.
country. And I was over there 6 months. We were only playing like once a week, practicing once or twice a week. So I just had a lot of time to go explore, visit everything. Traveled to Sydney, Melbourne, all around Adelaide. Saw all the beaches, wineries, and some nature preserves, all that. So it was just such a good time, such a cool experience. And any opportunity you get to play overseas anywhere, I highly recommend it because it just gives you a whole different perspective on, what life is like outside of the U.S. Because
Yeah.
we're so stuck to in our ways here in the U.S. and we assume that like all the governments are like how we
hmm
are here, and all the rules apply over there that they do here. And we don't really get that perspective of how other countries live and what people are like from other countries. So
What was the biggest
it's
culture
really
shock for
cool.
you?
Honestly, people culture wise, people over there are just so much friendlier. Like I got there on a Thursday. It was a kid's went to practice. Dude, teammate's birthday on Friday. Whole team's going out. 20 something of us deep. Even all of them, some of them had families and everything. They're leaving their families and they're like, we're going out to hang out.
Yeah.
And I had at least 6, 7, 8 dudes offer me like their home to stay in if I needed, because the first host family they put me in wasn't the best situation.
Okay.
Yeah, they were just kind of older on oxygen tanks and not the cleanest house, and they were also like vegans, and so
Mm.
they didn't have the dietary needs
They
for
had you
me,
eating that
and
vegan food.
yeah, so that wasn't good. So I was telling all my teammates, a bit about that, and they all just offered on the spot, and um, yeah, it's just a different culture over there. Everyone's friendlier, everyone's more in tune with nature and focused on their health, and just helping everyone, others around them, because it stems down from the people on top. The government over there is giving you free healthcare and making all these rules and stuff so that you become the best person you can be and you live a healthy life, and it benefits everybody. So yeah, that whole culture is just kind of brought down to people as well, and everyone helps each other. So friendly. It's way different to over here, whereas like you can't even really approach a random stranger without being, scared of getting confronted
Yeah.
about something, or
Sense of danger.
if you just talk to a random person on the street, they would be like, "Why are you talking to me?"
Yeah.
They'd be like, "What do you want?"
I feel like that's
Yeah,
common with like you're saying, other cultures, especially like the Hispanic culture.
yeah.
From
So
just
I think that was definitely the biggest culture shock over there for sure, and it was big.
what was it like being like the? Were you seen as like the even though you didn't count as an import? Were you seen as like the import guy?
Oh yeah, for sure.
How was
I
that
think
like?
honestly, I think not being an import, but still being like a new guy import over there probably got me even more attention because everyone just wanted to know like my story,
So it
like
was
how,
positive.
yeah, they were like, how are you Australian? How did you find us? Like,
How are you
what's your
Australian?
story? Like they were like, how'd you get your citizenship? What's going on? And so I actually my dad was from like an hour away from where I played at, and so
Okay.
when I told everyone where my dad was from, and they all just knew, they're like, wow, like that's crazy, and they asked how I found out about the got out there and stuff, and how the coach found me, and I was like, I actually reached out to you guys. Like I reached out to 4 or 5 clubs out there, and he was the only one that got back to me. So
You gotta reach out.
there
You
you go.
gotta make the connections
Yep.
happen. Circle.
If you don't ask, you never get it. Worst they can say is no.
Closed
So
mouths don't
go
get fed.
ask. Exactly. And yeah, and that was just such a great experience out there for sure. That I'm going back to do that in about a month or so. I'm heading back to the same club to play out there again, and I'm just super excited for it.
So what's the goal? Like, go back out there and what?
Um, I mean, obviously have a really good season. I talked a bit about the density of the players here versus over there. So I'm honestly almost looking as that season as my main season over there because I'm playing in front of the ABL coaches and stuff. They're there at just about every game, every other game, watching. So there's that alley where I'm right below the ABL. They're already looking. There's a bunch of players in my league already that are playing in the ABL, and then all those ABL coaches are in some MLB organization. When they go back and forth between Australia and then come over to America and
Okay.
coach, and then they just are always in season coaching somewhere.
So ABL is your top league.
Yeah, the ABL is the top league out there in Australia, and yeah, so it's just such like a much less levels to work up, and um, yeah, I'm already playing in front of those MLB caliber coaches, and so obviously the plan out there is to just have a good breakaway season. Hopefully, get called up to one of those ABL teams because I saw it happen with like 3 or 4 dudes in that league that just left in the middle of the season to go play with the ABL team. They got flown out and everything. So yeah, that'd be one of the goals. But at the end of the day, if not, made the connections last year. I'll just make those connections with the ABL team. They're stronger. Met the coach, met the manager. They all know me. So yeah, it'll just be a matter of trying to perform a bit better for them. And last year I was more treating that like a vacation, almost just having fun. I was in a new country, exploring. Had all this free time that I would go like to the beaches or go
Hmm.
do stuff instead
Or
of
win
go to
some gold medals or something.
yeah. So I ended up running well, it's like professional, semi-professional track as well.
Give a
And
little history on like
yeah, in Australia. So I ran track for 2 years in high school, so a long time ago, and I actually got trained by an old Olympian as well. And so yeah, I went out the track that first day, and we were just running hundreds and got our times. And that first day, I was out there. I ran the fastest time of everyone on the team. And so the one coach comes up to me and he's like, like, what's your experience? You ever run track before or anything? And I'm like, no, like, I just played baseball. I did football and basketball a little bit. Um, but yeah, I was like, no, just like had speed from athleticism and stuff. And then he literally just saw my potential, I guess, and took me under his wing and would take me to like his own private facility, and we would train and get film and work out like 2 3 times a week. And he ended up, like, over summer when school was out, we would go to indoor track meets, and he would just drive me around, well, really the whole southeast, went up north a bit as well, take me to different meets, take me to meet different people, make those connections, all that. So yeah, he really took me under his wing and trained me for like 2 years. And then I ended up getting an injury in high school. I fractured my fibula and my calf out here, and that kind of put me out of track. But that was what I was going to do in college. I had a good bit of offers in track, and I was ranked like the third fastest kid
Let
in
me tell you
the
guys
state
something.
of Georgia there. So
Let me tell you guys something. Max did not run track. Max smoked. Like, it was so funny because it's like, Max, like, we were on the same team, we're playing baseball, and then you just post an Instagram video of you absolutely smoking people, like running
yeah,
track, and I'm like,
I was doing
what the
track and baseball. So I would just I'd have two weight training classes, and first period weight training, I'd go get my lift in, and then seventh period was my next weight training, and I'd just text my track coach every day and get the workout, and I'd go out seventh period weight training on the track and do my track workout, and then right after that, I'd get done and go to baseball practice after school.
that's
So
insane. What was your
just doing
times
it
like?
all. So my fastest time in high school in the 100 was a 10:6, um, and then I also ran the
Is that fast?
200. I also ran the 200. I got a 21:9, and then I did the 4x1 as well. We set the school record by a good bit. I think I set the school record in the 100 and 200 as well, back then. So yeah,
It's not
then I
bad.
got that injury and just decided to go for baseball because it's a lot, less stress on the legs. I didn't get surgery or anything, even though they wanted me all. They were like, "You need surgery, you need it." I didn't get it. I was in a boot for like 6 months. I'd put a boot on
I
during
remember
school.
that.
I don't know if you remember, and
Yeah,
then
I
I'd like
remember that.
take it off at the end of the day, go practice and like run, and then I'd be wearing it, show up to the game in a boot, and then take it off and just wrap it up, put a bunch of Tiger Balm on my leg, and saran wrap, and then a leg sleeve,
This
and
dude was built for
yeah,
independent
just to
ball.
like finish that baseball career out or season out and find somewhere to play in college. Because at the end of the day, that was the main thing. I wanted to do some sport in college to continue being an athlete, and so I made the decision to go for baseball. And I was really really late in that recruiting process, and yeah, the dude from Baltimore, Coach Carter, just called me randomly
So
and
when,
offered me some scholarship to go play up in Maryland.
so when you got to Australia, you hadn't done track in how long?
Uh,
4 years,
Senior,
bro.
nah, it would have been like five at least, 5 or 6 that I like actually done track, and it was just a crazy, crazy turn of events that I even started doing it out there. So I was at one of the ABL games watching, and out there they have baseball clubs, so they have all ages. They have baseball players down to like t-ball, all the way up to like grown men that are still playing, and you all play for the same team, same club. So you get a real like family vibes and feel from over there, which I really loved. But so I was at the ABL games, and all the parents are over there talking to us, like just wanting to know about us and buying us drinks and stuff while we're
Nice.
watching the game. And so I ended up telling them about my track experience because they asked me how I got so fast and stuff after the first couple games, and I told them about my track experience, how I trained under a guy who ran in the Olympics and all that. And it was like, oh, well, we have this like pretty big semi-pro like kind of track thing out here, and we even got this one race, and it's like massive. And I was like, oh, that's cool, but I probably won't even consider it. I'm out here for baseball. But he was like, yeah, but like first prize you get like 20K, and I was like, oh. 20,000 you
20
say to
bands?
yeah, to run in some track meets.
I'm about to start running in Australia.
I literally
For me.
took that, and I was like, all right. So I went home, and the next day I called the running league, I guess, and told them about me, and they're like, oh my god, like we would love to have you out here. Just like that'd be so cool to have somebody not like truly an Australian running in the league with them. So that was actually my nickname was the Yank. I guess that's what
Yank.
they call Australians call us Yanks over here. So yeah, the announcer would just be like the Yank, he takes it all. And yeah.
So
But
you
yeah,
just
so he
ran
he
it?
told me that. I called. This was probably this was like 3 weeks before the biggest track meet in that state. So the one with the 20,000.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, it's coming up. Um, so I called him the next day and I was like, yeah. They were like, you can come practice with us if you need. They had their own little running club, and then they're like, yeah, but you just have to pay like $5-10 to get signed up for the event, and then you can come run and do all
In the
that
big race.
in the big race.
Five
It was like,
bucks.
yeah. So per like event. So I did 2 events, but yeah, not nothing. And I ended up just going and buying a pair of track spikes over there, and I'll just start doing my own sprints and doing some old training stuff that I would do on my own and just trying to get back into shape. I think I had 2 practices with the like actual running club before the event because the practices overlapped with my baseball schedule a bit, so I can only go see them once a week. And yeah, I ran in one track meet before that big one because they said they wanted to figure out my handicap, and that was something that was new to me. Over there, nobody starts like in a straight line. They all start at a handicap, so they're like staggered. Each person's like at a different, and then the start line ends up being like this. So
But
if you're like slower, then you get a head start, basically. Yeah,
so
so
you're
everyone's staggered
crossing, but
like
you're all
this.
crossing the same time.
Yeah,
Like well, like
the
same.
finish line's the same, but we're all starting like diagonal
Oh,
here based on like times and past experience. I don't know. I hated it because it made the handicappers way too big of a factor. But I was asking like, why do they do that? Why do they do that? Because it really kind of screwed me over my first meet. Because they put me in the very back, never having any. They called it the novice mark. It was just the very very back. Whoever had the lowest like handicap, they put you 1 meter behind them for your first time. And so that really kind of screwed me out the first meet, and I was just mad because I didn't even qualify for the finals in any of my um, events, and I was just like, how am I supposed to like catch all these dudes? And I'm like 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 meters behind them, like
that's
just
insane.
depending on how fast they ran. And so they said that like it's for sports betting purposes. I guess you're allowed to sports bet on the track meets there. So the handicap's supposed to make it so everyone finishes around the same time. And so it's like a fair race, but really it kind of just punishes the faster people and
Yeah.
gives the slower people opportunity to win. And, normally I would be all for it, but when it comes down to like winning money and,
Yeah. Like
twenty
this
thousand
is.
dollars, I'm like, no, the fastest and dude who's trained the hardest should be the one who wins it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they screwed me out that first meet, but only was kind of a blessing because they figured out my handicaps, moved me up a meter or two. I think they moved me up 2 meters in the 120. So they don't run the 160 like they do here. They run a 70 and they run 120 meter. And yeah, so they moved me up a couple meters in the 120, and then they moved me up like 1 meter in the 70. So I was still in the backpack. Like, but I just wasn't as far back from everyone when the
Yeah.
big track meet came around. And
Boom, the big day.
yeah, the big day came around. It was a two day meet, and my first event was a 70 on the first day, and then luckily the 120 wasn't until the next day. And it's also different there because you have to run in like a heats and then like a either quarterfinals, semis, and then the finals, or
Hmm.
you run in like heats, semis, and then like the championship. Whereas all my track experience here in the U.S. is like everyone just runs in their heats. You try to put everyone's times. You try to put them in the same heat, so it's like a decent race for the fans. And then whoever has the fastest time overall out of that one like race, that's who wins the gold medal. You don't have to run again. You just run your event one time.
Oh, okay.
Whereas there, I would have to run my event 3, 4 times,
Hmm.
and you get like an hour or two in between. So you go sit down, have a snack, energy drink, anything, whatever, Gatorade, and then you have to go back over there again 30, 45 minutes and get all warmed up and get
Get
re-warmed
rolling
up.
again.
So yeah, it was just a whole lot of running that I was not prepared for. I think one race, one event, I would have been money, like, just get my one good run out the way. But I had to just keep going back and back. So that first night was the 70. I got second place in the heats, and then I destroyed everyone in the semifinals. I won by like 3, 4 meters. It was pretty dope, and I was excited. Like, oh my god, this is like real. Like,
Yeah.
I got a chance
I'm
for
about to
that
win
for
this
that money,
bread.
And yeah, so I go and get warmed up, da da da, da, and then I ended up they ended up rushing me at the end because that was my first real meet. You had to get like a different, I guess, jersey or whatever to wear because it's the finals. You had to go up to all the way over this like tent in the corner and get your jersey
Bro.
instead of like normally you have this clear one that everyone just brings, you
Yeah.
know, and they tell you what color you're wearing based on your lane, and that's what you get in. So they're all ready to start, and I'm just over here like looking at everyone like I don't have a jersey. Like where'd y'all get that? And then some dude taps me. He's like, yeah, you got to go over there to that tent. So the tent's
You
like,
ran to the tent?
yeah, I had to jog over like 100 some meters to the tent, rush back, didn't get my warm up, and then didn't get my warm up properly. And they have like introductions for like another 10 minutes. They like sit there, go all the way down the line, ask everyone like, "Hey, what's your name? What's your story?" Ask some
Interview
questions,
like on the line.
interview us on the line right before the race, and
What's my
then
story? I'm
we
about to
take
win
like
$20,000.
we had to take pictures with like the mayor and like senators or something. Like we took a bunch of pictures before the race
What the hell is
with
this?
everyone, and then then we finally like, all right, you can like now jog down to the starts. And I was like, all right, well, I've just stood around here for like 10, 15 minutes and done jack squat. Like I was hot 15 minutes ago, ready to go. But anyways, I guess it was the same for everyone. So, and yeah, my legs were just kind of beat already at that point, but I still, we ran. And I got fourth place in that meet by like, we were all within zero point 0.1 seconds of each other.
And what was third place get?
So I think first got like the 20K, second got like 10, third got like 3, and then fourth place, little me, I get like a 750. I was like, it's better.
You
Didn't even get to keep the jersey. You got to bring it back, return it for the next one.
Bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess 750. It's better than.
It's
nothing,
good. I paid for all my costs for the track season and stuff, and just got my foot in the door. But man, I mean, literally, like all 4 of us finishing within a distance of like this much is just like brutal. And I was in the front too out the first half of the blocks. I had everybody in the first like 30, 40 meters, and then I didn't see anybody next to me or feel anyone next to me, so I didn't push myself as hard as I should have or would have. If there was someone like in front of me, then you got to chase. Then you're extra motivated to like get into them. But I was just in the front, didn't see or feel anybody near me, so I was like obviously running, but didn't have that extra motivation. Really win, so I was coming off the win by a mile too, so yeah. And then just last second they kind of inching past me, and then I still thought I got second, and then the final scores come out a few minutes later, and they're like fourth, and I was like, oh my god. Yeah, it just kind of disappointed me, but I stuck with it. Did like 3 or 4 more track meets. I got first place in like 2 of them. They weren't as big, but I still probably made 3,000-4,000 in running track.
Yeah, did you make more in track or in baseball?
I think I definitely made more in track, honestly. Yeah, my baseball pay was kind of at a minimum, but I had so much free time. I was giving lessons to all the kids and everything in the club. I probably had like 8-10 lessons a week, and I was able to charge a good bit out there, like $50 for a half hour was the rate. So it was decent. Obviously, money's inflated over there, so that in reality, that's like $20, $30 an hour in American dollars. But yeah, because you're bringing new experience that they never had over there before.
No, but that's fuck.
Yeah, so I mean, if you include
those, you run the big race next year.
It's the plan, but like I said, I was just in California for all that time, and I didn't get to work out, didn't get to stay in shape, didn't get anything. So my legs are just out of time. I didn't think it was till January, maybe.
Oh, bro,
December. I have time out there to train for sure, and I might actually go to the biggest. Last year, I got invited to the biggest track meet in all of Australia. It's called the Stool Gift. But that was like the 3rd week of April, and I was already due to be back before last.
Would you stay for that this year?
Yeah, so I'm considering it depending on what baseball opportunity I have this year. But first place for that is $50K there. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta run that one.
Yeah, I really just want to get my legs back right, and I'll go train and do that out there. But obviously, baseball is still my #1 priority. Track's got me injuries, and they'll reopen the old injuries. So
gotta prioritize.
Definitely got to get healthy first and get back into it. And I don't think I probably just won't run any track meets until that big one comes
Just
along.
train.
Yeah.
You think I can run?
Just train.
You think I should go over there and run? Does a
Train for
7.560 translate
just
pretty
train
well?
for like a couple years and you'll be good. A couple years of training.
Guys, catch
Yeah.
me and Max.
See,
The big race.
I was still like a 6'8", 6'9" kind of guy before, like in high school before my track coach started training me.
What was your fastest?
And then came down to like a 6'19" was my fastest sand time. Yeah, I'll probably be a 6'2", 6'3" right around there right now.
All right, guys, I'm not running this race this year.
But yeah, there's a form to running for sure. It's all about what you know. Get that knowledge. Like I said, learning from an Olympian. Same thing in the baseball world. You learn from someone in the MLB. That's the real knowledge that you need to be finding and getting and learning to get better in the baseball world.
Step by step.
Mm-hmm.
Step by step, the Max Tracey story. That's sick though. That's cool experiences like that. That's what comes out of just saying, you know what, I'm gonna pursue it. Like what I'm gonna try to do the best that I can do, and you gain new perspective, you meet new people, you have a good time, and then whatever happens happens.
New things, and then it was a blessing. Honestly, getting those track legs back because it helped me out with baseball. Just made me realize what poor shape I was really in baseball wise. You can kind of get away with not keeping up with the cardio and the endurance in baseball because there's not much running. You run to first or second. Most running you probably do is if you're an outfielder, you got to track a fly ball. But apart from that, it's all strength, power, balance. So yeah, when I did start running track again, I was like, man, I'm just out of it, endurance wise, and then that did end up helping me out with baseball more. So yeah, just the hot days you just wouldn't get to as much when you're in better shape. And then especially when playoffs come around too, and we had 2 games on a Saturday and 1 game on a Sunday.
Yeah,
everyone's beat after the first game, got nothing, and then you still feel all right. So yeah,
that's cool. So you gained something. You gained something.
Definitely.
Not 20,000, but
well, maybe next year.
Maybe this
20
year.
and the 50.
Get that 50K. Get that 50K. We're gonna go through the subscribers. So make sure you subscribe because when Max wins the $50,000 race, he's gonna be donating half of that to look
to the American government when they have to pay it back on the exchange rate and stuff. Bring my money.
I guess
back.
you're gonna get taxed for that.
Yeah, that's.
Dude, just stay over there.
Get like half my money. Yeah. I'll definitely plan on making one. I can get one since I got a citizenship.
Yeah,
I just have to apply for my taxpayer number over there and stuff.
I'll keep this out of the podcast. I appreciate that. I appreciate the insight. I guess the only thing that's left is a final message to people out there, kids watching.
Yeah. Now as far as baseball world, if you're playing, keep going. Just keep going as long as you can. I've had that doubt a couple of years ago, and I've run into so many people that have those doubts, like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I can keep playing. I don't know if I can go to the next level. Just keep going while you can. This is the only time you're going to have that opportunity. And I can guarantee you that if you stop, you will miss the game. Like, I've talked to countless guys who didn't end up keep going, and most of them end up getting jobs around the baseball world, coaching or at a baseball facility or anything because they missed the game. So yeah, just do it while you can, and if you're gonna do it, just go hard. Like, not only in the gym, you don't have to be the biggest, strongest, but take advantage of your resources, man. Like, all these videos out here, all these MLB guys are posting what they're doing. All these pitchers, they're posting the mechanics that they're using. So, if you're not training, the way that those guys are training, if you don't know what you're trying to do with your throw or with your swing or anything, then honestly you're just making yourself worse. So I highly recommend taking that time to just do your research, watch your videos, learn the correct way to hit, to throw, to run, like it was for me. Anything that you want to get better at, make sure you're learning the way that the pros are doing it, because that's the only way. Otherwise you're just making bad habits for yourself, which is a waste, because I do feel like majority of my baseball career I've been swinging wrong, been throwing wrong, and then you learn something new and you try to tweak it, but if you're not learning from the best of the best, then what you're learning is most likely wrong or not the correct way to be learning it. So do your research, man, especially with all the technology out there, all these AIs and all this stuff nowadays. Like, I had an AI build me a workout program and everything. Like, if I want to be I want to be the best baseball player out there in the world, what should I be doing, and it tells me throwing program, workout, agility, speed,
Insane.
endurance, and I was like, make me a schedule. And then it made me a schedule. It was like weight training this day, weight training this day. I was like, all right, what should I be doing for weight training this day? What should I be doing for speed and agility this day? What should I be doing for endurance? And then I had to just keep going. And then that's the same thing. You have it find you videos of like just hitters, pitchers, all that on Instagram, YouTube. All of these guys are posting what they're doing.
There's no reason that people out there should like. There is no more. Oh, I don't even know what to do. Like,
yeah, like if you don't have a plan every practice, every game of what your swing should be, you don't know what your swing should be, you don't know what your arm slot is, you don't know how to throw, you don't know how to use your legs the correct way. That was the biggest thing I heard growing up. Use your legs, use your legs, use your legs, use your legs when you throw, use your legs when you hit. But how do I use my legs?
Mm-hmm.
Like no one would ever show me the how, and then if they did, sometimes it just didn't feel right, or it didn't, like I felt like I had way more in the tank, or I just wasn't using them properly. So it was only recently in the past couple years where I was like, I need to just sit down and research and just watch all these MLB Network videos, follow all these dudes on Instagram that I know, all the coaches, all the big hitters, like everything that you can to just see what they're doing, what they're learning, and then you just try it out, see if it works for you, see if it helps you. But at the end of the day, learning what they're doing is only going to make you better, and you can do that with every aspect of your life, every sport, every aspect of baseball, everything. So yeah, know what you're doing, for sure.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom from the boy, Max Tracey, the Yank.
The Yank.
Appreciate you coming through, my boy.
Yes, sir. Good seeing you.
Cool. Yep, good. Cool hearing about the stories. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check us out, the Athletek Podcast, Baseball Development Show here on our YouTube, here in the Juice Box. We will see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ooh, we got through it. Through the weathered the storm. Literally, there's a storm outside.